Wibta if I never tell my wife that I slept with someone else while she had cancer, even though she gave me permission. I never thought I'd write something like this. It feels like a confession meant for a stranger's ears, because if I said it out loud to someone who actually knows me, it would shatter everything I've built. My wife was diagnosed with stage 2 cancer 2 years ago. The word cancer alone felt like a death sentence, and in some ways, it was. Not just for her health, but for the marriage we thought was unbreakable. The treatments, the surgeries, the exhaustion, it all stole the intimacy we used to have. She was brutally honest about it. She said she couldn't be the partner I needed, that she felt like a shell of herself, and she didn't want me to drown alongside her. One night, she said something I'll never forget. Lying in bed, pale and weak, she whispered, "If you ever need intimacy, go. Don't tell me. Don't ask me. Just do what you need to survive this too." I didn't believe her at first. I thought it was the medication talking, or just her way of pushing me away. But the longer the months stretched, the lonelier I became. Friends stopped visiting as often. Family said the right things, but no one stayed around long enough to really see what it was like. I was living with the fear of losing her and the guilt of wanting something more than just being her caretaker. And then it happened. A coworker, someone I'd known casually for years, invited me out for drinks. It was innocent at first, just a distraction from the weight I carried at home. But she touched my hand, and I didn't pull away. I told myself I wouldn't let it go further, but later that night, I ended up in her apartment. I broke every vow I swore to keep. Here's the part that haunts me. It didn't feel like love. It didn't feel like betrayal. It just felt empty. Like I was trying to fill a void that was bottomless. The whole time, I heard my wife's voice in the back of my head, "If you need to go." She had given me permission, but not like this. Not in reality. The next morning, I couldn't even look at myself in the mirror. I drove home, kissed my wife's forehead while she slept, and nearly broke down when she stirred and smiled at me. That smile made me swear I'd never do it again. And I haven't. Now, 2 years later, she's in remission. She's stronger than ever, talking about vacations we'll take, dreams we put on hold, even kids again. To her, it's like she's been reborn. But to me, there's this ugly truth sitting in the middle of my chest. She doesn't know. She never asked, and I never told her. She gave me that permission, yes, but in my bones, I feel like I still betrayed her. I wasn't just filling a need, I was giving a piece of myself to someone else when my wife needed me most. Some nights I lie awake, wondering if keeping this secret makes me the worst kind of coward. If telling her now would only break her spirit after she fought so hard to live. Or if I'm just protecting myself from her disappointment and disgust. So Wibta if I never tell her? Am I already the asshole for carrying this lie in silence? At first, keeping the secret felt like a protective barrier, like I was shielding both myself and my wife from unnecessary pain. But secrets don't just sit quietly, they rot, they whisper, they claw at the edges of your peace until you start to unravel. The unraveling started small. One afternoon, while we were sorting through old bills and medical paperwork, she laughed and said, "God, I must been so out of it on those pain meds. I barely remember some of those months. You could have robbed a bank and I wouldn't have noticed." I froze. My stomach churned. Because in that moment, it felt like she knew. Like she was testing me. I laughed along, but my laugh sounded hollow, even to me. She gave me a long look, the kind that lingers a beat too long, and then went back to her paperwork. Then came the second crack. A few weeks later, we bumped into my old coworker, the one I'd slept with, at a grocery store. My wife had never met her, But the instant recognition on the co-worker's face gave me away. It wasn't even anything she said. It was the way her smile faltered, the quick dart of her eyes to my wife's hand in mine, the awkward tightness in her voice as she said, "Oh, hi." My wife didn't catch on, but I did. My palms were sweating, my throat dry. I rushed us out of that store so fast it made her suspicious. That night she asked, "Do you two know each other well?" And I lied. I said we'd just worked on a project once, nothing more. She nodded, but I could tell she was filing it away. The cracks grew wider. I started dreaming about it, waking up in a sweat, convinced I had confessed everything in my sleep. One morning, she was making coffee and asked casually, "Rough night?" I panicked and almost confessed right there. But instead, I muttered something about stress at work. The guilt was eating me alive. But worse than the guilt was the twisted part of me that wondered if maybe I wanted to be caught. If maybe I deserved the punishment of being found out. Then came the breaking point. We were at a small gathering with friends, celebrating my wife's remission anniversary. People were drinking, laughing, telling stories about those difficult months. My wife, tipsy and emotional, raised her glass and said, "And thank you to my husband, who never gave up on me. Who stayed faithful and strong when I was at my weakest. I don't know how I deserved someone so loyal." The room erupted in cheers. Everyone clapped. And I felt the air leave my lungs. Because in that moment, it hit me, in her eyes, I wasn't just her partner. I was her anchor, the one she trusted most, the one who never faltered. And all I could do was plaster a fake smile on my face while my heart screamed. Since that night, I've been spiraling. I find myself staring at her when she sleeps, wondering if she'd still smile at me that way if she knew. Wondering if our marriage is built on love or on the ashes of my lie. And now I'm trapped. If I confess, I risk destroying her hope, her healing, her trust. If I keep silent, I live with this gnawing guilt forever. Every time she kisses me, every time she tells me she loves me, I feel like a thief stealing affection I don't deserve. So maybe the real question isn't just Wibtar if I never tell her. Maybe it's, am I already the asshole for letting her believe I was the man she thought I was? It started with a letter. I don't know how it got there. I swear I didn't leave it. But one morning, while my wife was out running errands, I found a small envelope slipped under the bedroom door. No handwriting I recognized. No sender. Just my name on the front. I hesitated, heart pounding. I wanted to leave it alone, to pretend it wasn't there. But curiosity, and maybe fate, pushed me to open it. Inside was a short note: "Secrets have a way of surfacing. One day, shall know. Are you ready?" My chest tightened. That's all it said. No threat, no accusation. Just a warning. I spent the entire day walking on eggshells, imagining every possible scenario. What if she saw my phone? What if someone from the old job had left messages with decided to warn her? My mind twisted every possibility into a nightmare. By evening, she came home, radiant and smiling. She had bought flowers for the kitchen counter, and her joy was so bright it made my stomach turn. How could someone so innocent, so trusting, coexist with a secret so corrosive? Dinner was quiet. I kept expecting the words to fly out of her mouth, some subtle accusation I hadn't anticipated. But nothing. Just the clink of utensils and her soft humming as she ate. Then it happened. We were clearing the dishes when my phone buzzed. I glanced at it, an old co-worker's number flashing on the screen. I froze. And as I stared, my wife, curious, leaned over and saw the screen. "Who's that?" she asked casually. I hesitated, trying to muster a lie that felt believable, but the weight of everything crushed me. My throat tightened, and I realized that if I didn't speak, the truth might leak out in ways I couldn't control. I need to tell you something, I stammered. Her smile faded. A cold unease replaced it, and she said, "What is it?" I swallowed. My hands shook. While you were sick, I slept with someone else. It was when you said I could. You gave me permission. Her eyes widened, not in surprise, but in disbelief. She dropped the plate she was holding. It shattered on the floor. You what? Her voice was low, trembling. I know, it was wrong. I regretted it the moment it happened. I never told you because I couldn't bear to hurt you more. But now, keeping it from you feels like poisoning our marriage. She didn't speak for a long time. The room was heavy with silence, the smell of broken porcelain and fear lingering. Then she laughed. A harsh, bitter laugh that made my chest ache. You think you can justify this? You think permission erases betrayal? Tears streamed down her face. Do you have any idea what I went through? Do you think my trust was just some casual gift you could cash in whenever it was convenient? I tried to reach for her, but she stepped back. Don't touch me. Not until I decide if I can even look at you the same way again. For hours, we sat in silence. She alternated between crying and staring blankly at the walls, her breaths coming in short, sharp bursts. I wanted to apologize, to beg, to explain, but the words all sounded hollow. Over the next few days, she barely spoke to me. She moved around the apartment as if I wasn't there. And yet, the intimacy we had, the bond that had once been unbreakable, seemed shattered into fragments I couldn't piece together. I tried to make it right. I offered to go to therapy with her, to be fully transparent, to answer any question she had. But she wasn't ready, not yet. And every day that passed without her forgiveness felt like a chisel carving deeper into my soul. Sometimes I catch her looking at me, eyes wary, searching for the man she trusted. And sometimes I catch myself hoping she never fully forgives me, as if some part of me deserves this punishment. I wanted to believe love could survive this, that we could rebuild, stronger than before. But now I'm not sure. The line between betrayal and survival, between truth and secrecy, has blurred so much that I don't know if either of us will ever be whole again. The truth is out. The past can't be undone. And now, every glance, every touch, every word carries the weight of what I did, and what she may never forgive. I wonder, every single day, did I betray her, or did I betray myself first by thinking I could control the consequences of love and pain?